what do you think, like when you decided to purchase at GCC, what was the pain points that product was solving? What led you to purchasing that in the first place?
To be honest, it was mainly, like I was in the agency world back then and I just bought all of Iman's programs, bro.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I didn't, bro, that was I could sit here and say like, oh, I had the networking and stuff in mind. I was like, no, I literally bought all of Iman's programs back then. I was like, it will for sure be cool to meet other people as well, but it was not the main priority because, and that's kind of like the biggest thing with networking, unless you experience it, you don't really know what you can get from it, right? Because when you're in business and you sell like business opportunity offers, like make more money, whatever, like people know like their pain, like they know, fuck, I can't afford that Lambo, I can't afford this or that. Versus with surrounding yourself with the right guys, it's not like that at all. Like you can't envision something that you haven't experienced at all yet, or like you don't really know the concept of it all. So I didn't know how it would be meeting other like-minded guys. I was never like, okay, that's the reason I joined and stuff. It was mainly like, okay, probably more connections, like deeper connection with Iman. That was kind of like the main reason. But quickly then I realized how powerful it is. Yeah.
And people also say, like always say that, you know, your network is a net worth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can't really see it tangibly. Like you meet someone and you're like, okay, now how am I gonna make money? Like it's very like almost with money. When you sign a client, you can instantly see the screenshot. But when you network, 100%. You can't really see the value. So how would you like describe the value that you get from networking?
It is super hard to put like a tangible ROI on that.
Yeah, that's
but like for logical people love to say that when I'm on calls with them, like, oh yeah, why would I do that? Like I could put the money in ads, blah blah blah. But in the end, it's a numbers game, and we talked about that as well on like the party we were like 2 weeks ago. It's like every person you know on average knows 200 other people, right? Some people are more connected, some people are less connected, and let's just say it's just 50 business owners for the sake of like easiness and stuff. So for every person you meet, you now have access to 50 new people, roughly. If you meet me, it's 10 times more than that. If you meet someone else, it's maybe 10 times less. But now for every single new connection that you make, you get access to a lot more people, and you can dive into a lot deeper networks through that. So logically, you can even make it sense. You could just increase your chances of some crazy stuff happening. It's like Harvey Specter in Suits when he says, like, I don't get lucky, I create my own luck. So you can literally create your own luck with that. But what I want to give to the audience, like the understanding and the awareness, for me, a very powerful network has like 3 things and 3 layers. Like layer number 1, which is the most tangible one, is you can get all of your problems solved, right? Like no matter what I need, I like make one phone call, need a videographer for the safari, last minute, boom, someone sorts me out. I need someone to help me with my ads, boom, someone sorts me out. No matter what I need, like a car, this or that, even private jet, bro, someone sorted me out. And that's the first and most tangible one, which is also for business amazing. The second one is definitely the whole inspirational side of things. I told you the same as well. Like I have one friend or like 2 friends currently who I'm very close with, who are kind of like some of my biggest inspirations. Like Zach, I travel a lot with him. You met him as well. I think you met him too. And he's very big into e-commerce. We hopped on weekly calls back then before we traveled a lot. And during Black Friday, he just like casually mentioned, yeah, we increased our ad spend to I think like 150K per day. Or 200K per day. That's how much they were spending on ads, which means they made like 3-4x back. And I'm sitting there on this call, and I think we're doing great for ourselves. And then one of my best friends tells me they're spending 150K per day. I'm like, fuck, bro. Like I actually need to step up my game here, right? Like that's one story. The other story is like Courtney here from South Africa built multiple consulting offers to multi-6 figures a month, multi-7-figure businesses. They started their new software company, and he went from like $0 to $10 million valuation in 90 days. It's completely insane. Like big people in the space invested in the company. I can't share too much and stuff. And I'm in London with him hanging out, and he just explains like to me the news in the company because I'm one of his clients in the software. And again, I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, I know this guy is going to make so much money and build such a huge ass corporation with this. And I'm just thinking, okay, how can we get like to this next little step? So surrounding yourself with crazy guys just forces you to think 10 times bigger, which inevitably leads you to making even more money. But that's hard. Like that is not really tangible or hard to track. And then the third, and for me the most important one, is like actual actual friendship.
Yeah.
That's what we care about a lot, which is missing in the online space a lot, if you're asking me. I think we talked about this too when we had like our deep convo. I feel like even in places like Cape Town, Dubai, or London, like big cities, people hang out with each other less because they're friends, but more because you're in the same location, you can afford to spend time with each other. Like I can't spend time with my hometown friends here in Cape Town because they just can't afford being here, right? So that automatically is kind of like this filter. And then you can just have a great time with each other. But realistically, on every single trip I had or I went to, I met people that I consider like very, very close friends now. Like we don't just talk about business, we talk about like very deep shit, like actually also helping each other. Like Ahmed, spend a lot of time with him here, you guys know him too. And like almost every single day, like I either tell him something, I'm like, hey bro, I noticed in this situation, you could have acted like this. Like you didn't really handle the situation well. We did the same with the safari because we kind of like hosted it together. And not many people do that. Like people just spend time with each other because it's fun, but they don't really help each other grow. So oftentimes it's not really genuine. But imagine you have someone you can always like fall back onto. They really want the best from you from the bottom of your heart. Like even my high level guys, like they take time out of their busy schedules, bro. Like making multi-8 figures per year to help me grow my business. They don't give a fuck about like, you can't even buy that shit, bro. But they do it because they care about you. And that's for me by far the most important one out of these 3 layers.
What do you think is good eigenskappen, what is that, like the qualities of someone you would consider to be a good person to call like a friend? Or like you mentioned a couple now, like calling someone on his bullshit, or where you could have maybe improved a little bit. I think very shallow friendships don't do that.
Yeah.
Do you try and cultivate a certain type of how should I say, almost like a culture when you go out on these trips? Do you look for certain people? That might be more than one question, but
yeah. So how we do that is in our marketing, we're just like very, very specific. Like our marketing message is like tailored towards our target audience, which kind of like has the same values as we do, which is we put personality first and money second. Like there's so many people who are like, yeah, the first question they ask is, how much money do you make? And if you say, yeah, we make 100K a month or whatever, then you're like, ah, cool, I'm XYZ. Like that's when they're open to communicating with you more. That's what I see a lot in the space. But I'm like, brother, we've been on trips, even with people who make multi-8 figures, even multi-9 figures. And there's guys who are maybe just like super weird socially or just a not good character. And I'm like, this guy's like 0 addition to my life. Like he's not going to share any business value whatsoever. He's not even a good person, fun to be around with. Like there's 0 value. But so many people just attach like someone's value to their bank account. And if I see people who care too much about that, I'm like, okay, that's like, we'll automatically disqualify that because these people, because you just see that they're in it just for the money pretty much.
I think something that I took away from, so he had a podcast with Serge about a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And something I took away from that was you were speaking about, let's say for example, you buy a course from someone, let's say I'll buy something from you, a coaching program, and you were to share stuff with me. There's like, where would I get more value from? Either you, my coach, or you, my best friend, or someone that I've spent time with, I got to know on a personal level, maybe went on a trip. Obviously the guy that has a bit more of a personal relationship and experiences with, you're going to connect on a deeper level. And I think that's very valuable as well, is because people might say if you want to get get some knowledge out of someone, buy the coaching thing, but my experience this past, like let's say 2 weeks meeting up with you and some other boys, you learn so much via just osmosis. Being in the room with people, hearing their conversations, hearing conversations, you and Serge, for example, and that is something you can't put a price on that, and it is difficult to get a tangible ROI on that, you know.
No, 100%. Like the best example is like my business partner who does all the marketing for us, like an external growth partner. I met him exactly 2 years ago on this trip. Like he's also from Munich, like Germany, and we vibed on a personal level like crazy. We did the most fun, like craziest fucked up shit together when we were here 2 years ago. And after that, we just like kept building that relationship, right? Because we vibed like crazy. And like half a year later, once we were on a dinner, he was sharing some crazy business sauce with me, like insane. And he told me like, don't share this with anyone. I'm like, why? Why should I not share this with anyone? Like provide value to people. He's like, yeah, I'm not even giving my clients this. I'm giving this to you because you're a friend. I'm like, if I was a client, I wouldn't even get this from him. But we're friends, and that's why he's giving it to me. And that's the whole thing. Like, you'd rather help your friend succeed than a random ass client or business guy that you met on a mastermind or whatever. And that's why we really focus on like cultivating these friendships and building this personal relationship first. And then coming back to the point earlier with the networking, a year and a half later, we become business partners, because then like the right opportunity arose. I said, okay, I really want someone to take care of this now. I know you're the man because we've known for each other for a year and a half. There is no negotiations, no nothing. We know it's gonna work out, and that's it. Like, there's no like 100% trust from both sides.